Hello everybody, it's me, Con here, back again after a month of not doing anything. As I've been taking a break from Cookie Run for a month or so now as the updates were kind of boring. As I've come back about yesterday before the update arose, we are now here with the newest game mode of the Cake Tower, which has been basically reworked into a kind of boss game mode. So, I wanted to give a little bit of tutorial on how to defeat the first couple of stages. So let's get into it. The tower has two different modes. The one on the left is the one we have unlocked right now, which is the more permanent version of the game mode. And I think this one will just always stay the same. Meanwhile, the one on the right is the endless version, which is going to be more like the original tower with the 150 trays, where you can go up, collect more and more rewards the more difficult it gets, and it resets after a certain amount of time of like a month. So, let's get into the teams. So, to keep in mind, the game does give you recommendations on what type of boss you're fighting, and they all have their different type of quirks. One thing that they do all share is this first two lines of text, which says, applies attack and attack speed debuffs when attacked with multiple regular attacks within a certain period of time. What this means is that a character like Creme Brulee is absolutely useless, as they will completely negate every bit of damage they do. This is because otherwise he would just dominate this entire game mode and there'd be no use in even trying to create teams. Now, the one nice thing about this game mode is that there is a balance for special conditions. Every cookie is level 70, skill is level 70, and they're at minimum 5-star promotion. Bonds and stuff don't matter. This is really nice because as long as you have the cookie, you should be okay. You just need toppings and biscuits and treasures. So, let's head into the very first boss. Now for the very first boss, we're going to want to use this team. Now as you can see, we have Snapdragon. Let's just get into toppings, it's easier. So since toppings are just flat rates and the substats don't matter, I'm just going to show you the biscuits effects that I have, just so you can understand what I'm using. So for this first team, we have a requirement of needing Zap, as it has an HP shield, which can only be broken with electrical type attacks, or Zap, even though that is an electrical type attack, but that, I don't know why they put it like that. So for this first team, you're going to want to use Crimson Coral with Swift Chocolate and just a Biscuit. We're going to use Black Lemonade as a sub DPS to have attack toppings and just a simple Biscuit. Do note, this Biscuit's like level 8, and my toppings here are level 6 and 9. I can show you right here. Nothing special. So if you have trouble, you can use those. Then we have Shining Glitter. From what I found, kind of the most important part, as they are the main DPS. Swift Chocolate, which I'm still missing one, I notice, and just a regular Biscuit, like level 10. Should be fine. Then we have Parfait for some healing and debuff cleansing. Just a good, I have a lot of damage, just Biscuit. And Swift Chocolate toppings as always. And Snapdragon with Swift Chocolate and cooldown attack speed and attack on the Biscuit. So yeah, for treasures, we have the basic trio of treasures with the whistle, scroll, and watch. Of course, if you need to, you can just use the common and rare versions, and that should suffice. So yeah, let's test it out. The tactic's very simple. You just spam. And there we go. 1 second left. It's a bit of a tight squeeze, but we did get there in the end. You will need, most of the time, every little piece of time you can get. Is this the single best team? No. Can you level them up further? Yeah. And will you have an easier time? Yes. So I definitely recommend it, but I'm here to show you that it is not necessary. You know, I'm a free to play. Of course, I've played everything. I've Snapdragon maxed, and these are mostly arena team units, with an exception of these two, with Shining Glitter, of course, taking the stage, with a Black Lemonade close behind. Crimson Squirrel giving that little bit of extra damage. They do a little bit of damage, but it's a bit overkill. You could perhaps remove, if you don't have enough damage, there's one thing you could do, and that is remove Parfait. If you think the healing from Snapdragon would be enough, you can also try only Parfait, and instead removing Snapdragon. This one doesn't really stun. And instead put a third electricity type. A really good one would be the newest legendary cookie, which I do not have as it's the first day, and like we're 3 hours in. Other than that, for the first time that I cleared it, I used Frilled Jellyfish, so you can give that a shot. I'm not sure about the rest. You could try Twizzling Gummy if you're maybe in the second part of the update where she'll have her magic candy. She might be even better. Same for, I don't even know what they're called. Let me check. I know names. Blueberry Pie. Okay, I was right in my head. So, that's the first team. For the second tray, this boss is a stun boss, and you will need to have debuff removing skills to defeat them, or cookies who are resistant. Now, there are a couple things you can try with this team. I've tried a couple times now, and this team has been the most consistent for me. So, the most important thing is to get, I definitely think Parfait is an important bit here. As Parfait removes the debuffs and also just does a little bit of healing. Do keep in mind this boss does not do much damage at all. You could have a solo healer and it should work. The problem is the stun. So for that we have gone, instead of Crimson Coral, gone with Financier, with Swift Chocolate, and just a Biscuit. This is just so that one of, in this case, White Lily gets a shield, so it negates a bit of the stun. And just a general shield is good. It kind of tanks the stun a little bit. Other than that, you just want DPS. DPS, DPS, DPS. I'm using Black Pearl with attack toppings because they can go underwater, underground, whatever you want to call it, to avoid the stun. Now, there's one single mechanic in this boss, that when it has 2 little minions, it spawns very often, and when those are active, you barely do damage. It instead goes to those little minions. So cooldown isn't even that good if it isn't really quick, like Financier. White Lily attack, same for Golden Cheese. You can try Crimson Coral. I don't think it does enough. You can of course replace Black Pearl, try that, see what works for you. This team's worked for me the most consistently. So, let's get into it. And just again spam, try to get Golden Cheese first, if you can. Because otherwise she gets stunned. And other than that, you're just free to spam. As you can notice, you don't do damage most of the time. But basically you need to have killed the boss at around 10 seconds left. As the minions that spawn need to kind of die before the timer ends, which you will not be able to kill them with just your damage. So you need to wait for the timer. At 5 seconds left, they spawn again, and then they can't die anymore. So you need to watch out for that. As you can see, 10 seconds left, and we're waiting for them for their timer on the minions, so that they go away. If the boss is still alive at that point, even at 1 HP, the boss might die, but the minions won't, which then says we're out of time. As you can see, White Lily does the most damage, with Golden Cheese doing a little bit extra. Of course, Golden Cheese goes in the air, so thus avoids stun as well. So basically what we're creating here is the one character that does the most damage, White Lily, that cannot have stun resistance, gets stun resisted or helped with a shield due to Fin and Shear. Hope that makes sense. So yeah, that's the second tray. For the third tray, it is honestly maybe the easiest one. So this one has a burn effect, which just gives you a lot of damage over time that's going to go on your cookies. So what you need for them is debuff resist or water type attacks. The water, don't even bother. No one cares about the water. We're basically using the same team as last time, but instead of getting more DPS, we just need more healing, or debuff resistance, and cleanse. So for this, we have the Holy Trinity, as I call them. We have Crimson Coral, Finisher, and Snapdragon. Snapdragon has the base, debuff resistance, man, I'm forgetting names, but Crimson Coral basically is just shield, so it protects that. And then you have Parfait removing the potential debuffs. Other than that, you just want your two best DPS, for which I recommend, as long as you've been playing actively, you use White Lily and Golden Cheese. Others are probably possible, but not too necessary. One thing I could recommend here, which I haven't tried personally, is to maybe use the Paper Charm, as it removes all buffs. Or the newest version, which I believe does almost the same, but then does a little bit of extra electricity damage. So, yeah, let's get into this one. This one should just be the easiest. Keep spamming. Get Golden Cheese going first. It's probably easiest. And you'll notice that my team barely gets any damage, even though they get debuffs of the burn. I noticed that if you remove one of the three, healers or tank, sustain in general, your cookies might make it, but they'll die pretty easily. So this sustain is very, very important. So as long as you have the sustain and 2 good DPS, you should be able to win. And there it goes. 13 seconds left. So this should probably be the easiest tray of the 3. We'll look at the stats. Very simple. Just even damage. I will quickly show you, even though this has not changed in the slightest. It's the exact same as you've used before. So those are the first 3 trays. As this video is already getting quite long, I'm going to keep it there, but I'll probably get some new ones on the next couple of trays. Hope that helps. So yeah, hope you can get some rewards from that. See you in the next one.